Crypto's going up. Bitcoin is slowly creeping up towards an all-time high, hopefully this year. It's all very exciting stuff, which is why it's extremely frustrating that I don't have access to any of my crypto. What is happening, folks? My name is Robbie. I'm an investor and finance broker, and today we're going to be talking about crypto. More specifically, my biggest investing mistake in 7 or so years. This is the first video I've posted in like 4 or 5 months. I don't even know if I've posted a video since I've been married. I'm married now. Very exciting. So, if your Instagram, TikTok, Facebook feeds are anything like mine, talk of crypto has been ramping up since sort of the start of this year, maybe December. The accounts that went completely quiet, stopped posting entirely, they've all come back to profess how amazing crypto is, so I'm here to do the same. Well, that's not strictly true. I've still been talking about investing this whole time, other than the past couple of months because I've not made any videos. But I did slow down on the cryptocurrency chat, mainly because I'm bitter. I have a sour taste in my mouth about it. So why am I so bitter about crypto when I was such an advocate of it for so long? This guy. Actually, this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried. So let's go through a brief history of this man. Sam Bankman-Fried, most recently in the news for being in prison. But before that, he was publicised as the crypto king. Everything he touched turned to gold. He was the founder and CEO of 2 companies, FTX and Alameda Research. FTX was a cryptocurrency exchange, sort of like a stock exchange, and Alameda Research was a crypto trading firm. Can you see how those 2 things, you maybe shouldn't have both? Maybe there's a conflict of interest to have both. FTX, at one point, was the 3rd biggest crypto exchange in the world. They had over 1 million users. Sam featured on the covers of Forbes magazine and Fortune magazine. FTX were advertising during the Super Bowl, commonly known as the most expensive screen time you can buy for advertising. A massive company doing over $1 billion in revenue per year. So why is he in prison? He's a fraudster. A modern day Bernie Madoff. He was taking money held in FTX, client funds, my funds, and transferring it to Alameda Research. They were then using the funds in Alameda Research to trade crypto and turn more of a profit. Presumably the plan was to make a nice profit here in Alameda Research and then put the money back in FTX before anyone knew it was gone. But the crypto trading didn't go as planned and they started losing money. Client money. My money. Without getting too much into the weeds about it, this created a crisis for FTX. This sparked a public disagreement / argument on Twitter between Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX and Changpeng Zhao of Binance, another crypto exchange. This very public debate, disagreement, whatever you want to call it, sparked a sell-off similar to a bank run. The sell-off basically means that everyone wanted their money out of FTX. They seen some bad press about FTX and they wanted their money out. FTX had their own cryptocurrency, and when people started taking their money out of FTX, that caused their own currency to start to drop. This makes people panic, and this makes more people want to take their money out. What happens? Starts to drop even more. Very quickly, a snowball effect happens, and no one wants to hold their money in FTX because they can see it's tumbling. Very soon after this, Binance, more specifically Changpeng Zhao, made another public announcement that Binance intended to buy FTX due to FTX having a liquidity crisis. They were running out of money. Binance obviously seen their opportunity. They wanted to buy FTX. Hopefully it would go back up and they'd make a fortune. Bloomberg then very quickly announced that this was scrapped because FTX were being investigated for the handling of client funds. Again, my funds. Probably your funds as well if you're watching this. Now, this is all happening very quickly. Soon after, FTX announced on their website that they were no longer processing withdrawals. Imagine you have cash in your bank account and one day the bank just put on their website, no one's getting their money. You couldn't go to the branch and take money out. You can go to the cash machine. You couldn't transfer money. The bank just said no more money. You're not getting it. Would you panic? Because in this scenario, everyone panicked. Not long after this, FTX filed for bankruptcy. But this whole time, I was feeling smug. I seen the disaster unfolding on Twitter, and I knew that I didn't have any exposure to it. I was safe. I know that I've previously said that when they were mishandling client funds, these were my funds. I didn't have funds in FTX. I'll explain. This whole situation was making me a little bit nervous. I was using a platform called BlockFi, which I've mentioned before, which I thought were a great company, great situation. If this hadn't panned out, I'm sure things would have kept going well. My crypto was in BlockFi. BlockFi were paying around 5% interest on your cryptocurrency, which is not an outlandish interest rate for crypto, which is why I had it there. I decided to transfer my crypto out of BlockFi when I seen all this bad news, just to stay safe. I didn't want it being exposed to anything, but it was too late. They had halted withdrawals as well. So there I was, panicking, wondering why a BlockFi stopped withdrawals as well as FTX. They're two separate entities, completely separate. It turns out that BlockFi had evidently been using FTX to store their funds, and I believe they were also using FTX exchange. So this whole time, I was completely exposed to FTX. So while I was watching it unfold on Twitter, feeling smug, thinking I wasn't exposed, I was extremely exposed. I was completely exposed. But why was I using BlockFi in the first place? There are other exchanges who are a lot bigger. There's Coinbase, Swissborg, Binance. I mean, FTX was also one of these, but you get the point. The reason I chose BlockFi was greed. We're all susceptible to it. BlockFi was offering to pay a return on your crypto holdings. Nothing insane like 100% return in a year or any other crazy promotion that other platforms were using. A modest 5 to 8% in interest per year, where they were loaning it out at a much higher interest rate. Which sounds risky, but it's literally how conventional banks operate. And 5 to 8% was low enough for it to not raise any red flags for me. I had about $60,000 in crypto at the time. 5 to 8% per year would have meant I was going to make $3,000 to $5,000 per year just in interest and returns by using their platform. Not only did I want my crypto to go up and up and up in value, I wanted it to provide me a return at the same time. Greedy. So this all happened in November 2022, and my money's been locked up ever since. But where are we now? Well, Sam Bankman-Fried has been imprisoned for 25 years, and he is said to be remorseful of his actions. I'd fucking hope so. But the main point of this video is, did I get my crypto back? In a surprising turn of events, I have actually received some of it back, but when I first noted down the idea to make this video at the start of the year, I was convinced the money was gone. But then in about April, I received £5,000, which is, it's not the whole thing, but it's a start. So there's still about half a Bitcoin and about 1.5 Ethereum still due to me. BlockFi is currently being guided through bankruptcy proceedings, and in that process, they are trying to recover funds from FTX so they can pay them out to people like me. Once they receive those funds, they are then distributing them to people who held funds on the platform. People like me. So when I originally decided to make this video, it was a bit doom and gloom. But since then, there has been sort of a happy ending. I've received some of my money back, and I've actually received an email to say that I should be getting the whole amount back. This is still a tricky situation though, because at the beginning of the bankruptcy proceedings, it was published that they were going to be paying out in US dollars to the equivalent of the day that they went bankrupt, which was the absolute bottom of the market. But now they're talking about paying out in crypto to another wallet, which, in all honesty, as soon as I receive it, I'm going to sell it. So I'm still not 100% on how much I'm going to get. But as is always the case with investing, patience usually prevails. So I'll continue to be patient, and I'll continue to hold out the hope that I'm going to get a large chunk of money back, as opposed to a small chunk. I also bought this book, The Rise and Fall of a New Tycoon, Going Infinite by Michael Lewis. I've only read 2 chapters so far, so maybe once I've finished this book, I'll be enlightened a little bit more. Maybe there's another video to be made once I've finished the book. Either way, thank you as always for watching. Hopefully I'll be posting more frequently, trying to make a little bit more time for it. So, should be another video soon. Take it easy.